I'll now show you my favorite edge stitch, the double edge stitch. Double because it's made out of 2 yarns knit together every time you get there. You knit to the last stitch and pick up the yarn going from the last stitch to the stitch before, and you move your working yarn in front, slip the stitch and slip, or I should say slip the picked up yarn and the stitch. The yarn, working yarn is in front and you turn around. Now we got these 2 loops to be knit together through the back of the loop, like this. Knit together and not too tight here. I'll now purl to the other end to show you how it's done on row 2. Well, we're getting there. We now pick up the yarn going from one stitch to the other with our left hand needle, move the working yarn in front, slip stitch and slip stitch. The yarn is in the front, it's to be turned around. The 2 loops are knitted together through the back of the loop, like this. We now have these 2 loops lying shoulder by shoulder to perform this tight and firm edge that I love so much. Now in the other end here, pick up again. It's the horizontal yarn that we are looking out for. The yarn that goes from one stitch to the other, not the yarn out here, not the yarn in here, but the horizontal. Pick up the yarn and slip the yarn picked up and the stitch. Turn around, knit these 2 together through the back of the loop. Going to the other end. And again, we have to pick up the yarn before the last stitch with our left hand needle. Sometimes you have to pull it a bit to see which one it is. And it doesn't matter if you pick it up from the front or from the back. Just remember to put the working yarn in front while slipping the picked up yarn and the stitch to the right hand needle. And here again it's knit together through the back of the loop. And now it's lying here shoulder by shoulder, and you can start getting an idea of how this stitch will make a beautiful edge for your work. Pick up here and slip and slip. I'll show you how it is looking once we got far. Look at this wonderful edge here where the stitches that are knit together are lying shoulder by shoulder, performing this lovely edge. Beautiful for you to work your finishing bit of your jumpers. It can be a bit hard to find the thread. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes you have to go into the stitch like this and sort of grab it. If it's become too tight, it can be a way of getting it. Going to the stitch and sort of grab the yarn. Then you get the horizontal yarn from last row really. And then you can knit together. Look at this lovely edge. Continue to the other end. And if you have to sort of grab it from the purl side, you'd have to go into it from the front and grab the yarn like that. Go into the stitch and sort of grab the yarn. It can be an easy way to get it. Anyway, you have to remember not to knit this edge too tight, because you have to make room for 2 stitches when you come back. So you could easily have a stitch like this, so that there will be room for picking up the yarn from down here. You really have to make room for 2 stitches really here. Let me show how it's used in the Red Book, one of the finished jumper for the Red Book project. This is the pangolin, and here we got this neck opening. It's only been doing the double edge stitch, and then it gets this wonderful little edge, tight and firm. Could also be used in cardigan opening. This is the cardigan where I have knitted. And I have this opening, and I would have had my edge stitch, and then I had to pick up yarn, pick up and knit this whole band. And here we got at the inner side my edge stitch. I've left that to be visible, to perform this little ornament for this cardigan. Or like this big waistcoat, where the double edge stitch is really the only edge for the opening of the waistcoat. So have fun out there. This one can really get even very graphic in its expression. I hope you like the double edge stitch as much as I do, and when you come across it in my patterns or in our patterns in the red book, it will be written like this: 1 DBE, 1 double edge stitch. Have fun.